I'm just going to take a moment to appreciate just the silence in this house for once. Hi everyone, I'm here today to talk about 5 books that every feminist must read. And I'm just going to say that it is absolutely pouring down outside, so that is why the light is all orange, because you know you've got to have lights on, otherwise it would be in the dark. So it's either orange or dark, you choose. Well, no, I chose light. So I'm going to be discussing the top 5 books that I think every feminist needs to read. Now, a couple of these, definitely one of them is controversial, but I'm still going to include it because, you know, this is my video, this is my opinion. So without further ado, I'm just going to get straight into the book. And I guarantee most of these books you won't have seen in any previous recommendations for feminist reading. In my opinion, books for feminists should include some very strong women's tales. And do I have a few corkers for you here? Yes, I do. So the first one that we're going to talk about is this one. This is Stalked by Kate Brennan. Now, Kate was a very successful single woman. She had her own life going on, independent of a relationship or anything like that. But she came to the point where she decided she wanted to have a significant other, someone to share her triumphs and her joys and things with her, as many of us do. She then meets Paul, who is a successful businessman in his own right, and his sort of relentless wooing of her eventually wins Kate over. And what happens from there is that it turns out Paul is not everything that Kate thought that he was. As the relationship progresses, Kate and Paul move in together, and that is when she starts to uncover Paul's darker side. There's infidelity going on. He's told her many lies and fabricated all sorts of elements of their relationship, and he's just not Mr. Right. So Kate decides to end the relationship, but Paul won't let her end the relationship. And what follows is a really scary tale of a woman who is being stalked by her ex-boyfriend, and the lengths that he goes to are just unreal. And Kate has now been living with this over her head for many years. And I found this story to just be such a strong story because a lot of people would cave under this sort of pressure. A lot of people wouldn't manage to deal quite as well as Kate deals with this situation. It's a horrible situation for any woman to be in, and it's a very scary situation. I just found Kate's story to be inspiring, and she's just a very strong female, and for that reason I would recommend Stalk to you. The next book is a book that I would imagine being on any sort of feminist reading list, and that is this one, Everyday Sexism by Laura Bates. I have gone on about this book a lot since I read it. It was game-changing. I didn't realise how much sexism is ingrained in our daily society. I really didn't until I read this book, and it opened my eyes to the struggles that a lot of people go through, even down to being sort of groped and sexually harassed in the street. I have on occasion experienced that sort of thing myself, and I thought that it was just a rare one-off, that I'd just been unlucky and ran into a bit of an idiot. And no, it turns out that it seems to be a common theme that runs through society today, and I was shocked. There are so many elements of society that are just ingrained with sexism that I didn't realise until I read this. And the whole book is filled with studies and tweets and emails and Facebook posts and things like that have been sent to the author and compiled into this amazing book. And I will say again, as I've said before, that it's not just women's experiences in here, there are males' experiences, and there are discussions about sexism against men as well. For me, feminism means equal rights, which means stopping sexism against men as well as women, because nobody wants to be discriminated against because of their sex, male or female. So Everyday Sexism, 5-star read, can't recommend it enough, you need to pick this up. Now, the next book that I've got is what I would consider to be my wild card. A lot of people will not like this, but I'm going there anyway. This is Insatiable. Now, this is by Asa Akira. I don't know how to say that, and I haven't googled her name, and I'll tell you why. Because this is the story of a woman who works in the adult entertainment industry, which is porn if you're not aware. It's porn. It might seem weird that I read books about women in the adult entertainment industry, and yet I will not Google her name for the fear of actually seeing some of her work. I don't want to watch porn, I'm going to be honest, I'm not into it. But I am very interested in women's tales. So we have this. And the reason that I recommend this to you is because she is very, very in control of herself, in control of the situations that she gets into, in control of the type of scenes and movies that she wishes to appear in. And she feels empowered by the work that she does. And because of that, I think it's a very good read for feminists everywhere, because a lot of the time I see things such as page 3, topless modelling, things like that condemned. And then on the other side, you see the women who are doing it saying, well, actually, I really enjoy this job. No one's forcing me to do it. I want to do it. This is what I want to do. And I can see that there is argument on both sides. But I think that you should possibly read a book like this and see just how much she enjoys her work. And I won't lie, I've picked up many books from women who work in the adult entertainment industry because I want to find out how they got into it, what went on, and how they got out of it. But this one was a total different read because, as I say, there is no abuse that I can see written in the pages. She is doing everything because she wants to. And I thought it was quite refreshing, considering the other books of the genre have been a really depressing read, quite hard to get through, and have just left me sort of feeling a bit So this one, if you're not squeamish and you're interested in finding out more, I would definitely read this one. But I mean, feel free to Google her name if you're not worried about seeing porn. It's a bit weird to paint myself to be such a prude yet read this, but still, I recommend it. The next book that I'm going to recommend to you is this one, Cut by Hibbo Wardier. Now, this book is about female genital mutilation, so it's not an easy read. It's a hard read. It's about one woman who grew up in Africa, Hibbo, and she was subjected to female genital mutilation as a child. And again, it was something that I didn't know a lot about until I read this book, and it goes into a lot of detail. There are 3 types of genital mutilation, I think. No, I've just looked inside. There are actually 4 types of female genital mutilation, and it goes through what all of them entail, what happens to you, and what happened to our author. And the tale is a very harrowing one. It left me feeling upset that this happens to people against their will. Hibbo now lives in the UK, and she discussed that this sort of thing is happening on UK soil too. So wherever you are in the world, if you have migration in your country, this could be happening in your country too, to girls that are in the primary school with your children, children that you see in the street. This could be happening, and I think it's very important that we sit up, take note of this, and it is a real feminist issue, and it is something that I would recommend that you learn a bit more about and find out what's going on. The final book that I've got to recommend is this one, In Order to Live by Yeonmi Park. This is about one woman's struggle in North Korea, growing up in North Korea, and her eventual escape from North Korea and what that entails. I read this a couple of years ago, and it's really interested me in North Korea, in the culture, and in the life of the people there. Obviously, North Korea is sort of shrouded in mystery. We don't know a lot about it, and that is the way the country seems to want to remain. However, the people living within the country often want to get their story out there and tell you about what is happening in the country, why people are escaping, or as the North Korean government sort of put it, as defecting, and you're not allowed back. If you go back, you've left the country, you are imprisoned basically. And this is a story about one girl's fight against growing up in terrible poverty in North Korea, escaping and ending up in the hands of traffickers as she got into China, and just her eventual escape. And she's such a strong character. She tells such a interesting story, and it is again a book that I think is sort of life-changing and needs to be read. So for that reason, I am recommending this to anybody who is interested in another very strong woman's tale, and sort of triumph against adversity, which, if you've watched my channel a lot, you'll know I'm really into. So that is In Order to Live by Yeonmi Park, and yeah, I can't recommend this enough again. So that is 5 books that I would recommend for anybody who is into sort of feminist issues, into feminism, or even if you're just not, and you came here to sort of pick a fight with this video. Even if you did, still read the books and let me know what you think of them, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye for now.